Okay, so we're bringing back in all of our doors. We had those in storage. We got them all stacked here. We have all the hardware removed. We took all the hinges and pins and screws out of these doors so that we could spray them out. And we have all that stuff over there, actually in that box there from Duron Paints. And we're going to get our cordless drill out here this morning and put these doors back together and get them all in and set today. We've got our pre-painted base trim and chair railing and window and door casing on the sawhorses ready to go on. Back over there behind that built-in we have all of our wainscoting stacked. That's going to be going on as well. So we've got about 4 days, 3 to 4 days of trimming down here to get this thing put together. And we're going to completely trim it, and then we're going to go back after we're done trimming and put our drop ceiling in, which will be the very last thing that we do. The reason I do the drop ceilings last is because, you know, we're moving around down here. We've got long pieces of trim, and the possibility that we may bump the ceiling and damage some of the new ceiling tiles is a reality. So just through trial and error and experience doing these things for so many years, I know it's best to put the drop ceiling in the very, very last. The very last thing that I do is put the drop ceiling in. So that's our work schedule for the next 3 to 4 days. We're going to trim this basement complete, and sometime next week we should be about 95% done with this thing, all but some punch-out work. And we're trying to get this done by Thanksgiving for the homeowners, so we've got our work cut out for us. You can see in here we sprayed out the bathroom today, and you can see we taped off our shower unit over there so that we wouldn't get any paint on the fiberglass shower unit. We're 100% completed in here paint-wise, so we'll let that dry and we'll take that plastic off later on today. So that's it. We're in trim mode, and we'll be taking you along for the ride for the trim project from beginning to end, so we've got a lot more coming here on this project. Stay tuned. Okay, so today we got all of our doors set. We put all the hinges back on all the door jambs and the doors, put them all back together, and these were split jamb doors, which means the jamb splits down the middle, and you just pull the door apart. One jamb comes out of the other one, and you set the jamb with the door side first, and then you squeeze the split jamb on the other side. Let me show you what I mean here. Right here, the jamb splits, and this half of the frame right here slips into this side. And you just grab it and you just squeeze it around the wall when you put it in. Very easy to do. And they come with the colonial casing already applied, so it's a very easy door to set, and we use them all the time. We do not use flat jamb doors ever. So we put the hinges back together, and we've got all these doors in here set today. And they're all set nice with nice reveals, and actually over there we actually started putting the doorknobs on already. So it was our plan today to get all these doors in and set, and I think we put together 9 doors today. We've got one going to the storage area over there, and we've got our bifold door back here in the spare room put in, and it's working nice. Track set up in there today, and we actually put our inside cove in here to make a nice reveal when we shut the door. What happens is that that inside cove right there hides the edge of the door when it goes back behind there and makes a nice clean finished look. We put a piece across the top as well up here to hide the actual metal track that the top of the door slides in. So all of our bifold doors have been set, and all of our regular 6-panel colonial doors are set. The electrician's in here today, and he's wiring a couple electric heaters, 220 heaters that we put in here. In addition to the central heating, we have a couple unit controlled wall heaters that we're going to be putting in these areas back here. So that's one going in right there. So we got our trim shop set up, and today we're going to be starting to apply the wainscoting, which is over there on the sawhorses. We're going to be cutting that into 32-inch pieces. We'll get 3 32-inch pieces out of a 96-inch piece of wainscoting. So we'll get 12 linear feet out of one piece of wainscoting. And we'll be putting the wainscoting on today. And back here in this spare room, I didn't show you, we already started to apply the base trim. And we're going around, we're going to be basing as well. We use all air equipment. Right there is one of our finish guns. That's a 16 gauge finish gun. And we're using just this little pancake compressor right here that runs those guns. So we don't do a lot of hand nailing. We use these air tools. And they're not expensive. I believe that pancake compressor and 3 guns like that one on the floor there, all which shoot different size nails, was like $300. So tools have gotten a lot more affordable, and I recommend if you're going to do your basement that you go to air. We got our bookcases shot in today, and our adjustable shelves were put inside. We've been talking about. You see, we have adjustable rods that go on the side here, and if you look up underneath here, you can see we have these clips, and these clips are then snapped in wherever we want to set our height, and the shelves put on. And there's that OG on the front comes down and hides the clip and makes a nice edge on the front of these shelves. We showed you earlier how we were applying that OG to the front of those bookcase shelves. So that's in and shot and ready to go. We've got our one down there in there for our stereo equipment right below us, and over here we've got our 1 foot deep bookcase in with the 4 shelves all ready to go, and we've shot our window in, our jamb in place permanently, and finished that off. And there's that 1.5 inch lattice in the back there that we put on there to hide that gap that we had between the side of the box and the vinyl window stop here. So that made a nice transition the whole way around the box and hid that gap back there. So the window's finished, the doors are set, the bookcases are shot in, and we are getting ready to cut up this wainscoting right here this morning and start to apply the wainscoting to the walls. So the trim job is progressing nicely, and we predict we'll probably have all the trim done in here. It's Monday, beginning of the 4th week. We should have all this, beginning of the 4th week. We should have all the trim done by Wednesday of this week, and then what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll caulk all the trim to the walls and go around and do our final paint touch-up. And then Thursday and Friday, and possibly this weekend, we're going to be jumping on these drop ceilings, which is really the last phase of the job then. We do the drop ceilings very last thing. So, there you go. Trim's moving along nicely. The Blazy project here in Mechanicsburg, PA is moving along very good. And we should be out of here by this Sunday. Thanksgiving's next Thursday, but we want to be out of here by the weekend this week because carpeting and furniture are coming next week, and we don't want to be in the way of that. So that's it, and we'll be checking back in with you more as this trim job progresses. I also wanted to show you that over the weekend I came in here with my tile setter, and we put in the tile and the marble threshold entering the bathroom here over the weekend. Now it's not grouted yet, but we're going to get in there later today or tomorrow morning and get that grouted because the vanity's here and the toilet, and we want to get this bathroom put together and finalized so that we can have it ready for the company when they come here for Thanksgiving. So this bathroom will be completed by Sunday. But I wanted to show you that we got the tile floor in here, and also over here on the other side of the basement we put a little bit of tile on the floor in front of the fireplace. 1 foot of tile there, and we're going to be putting a border around the outside of the fireplace for a nice clean finish look. We got a couple decorative tiles to put in the corners there, and the rest of them are just regular 6x6. But that'll be going right around the outside of the fireplace right there on the wall. They're wall tiles, and they'll go down and sit on top of the floor tiles right there for a nice clean finish look. And over here we've got the 2 rows of tile that are going to be going in front of our cabinetry for the bar. And we put 24 inches of tile there, and we went the whole way across the 7-foot span of the bar with that. and that'll make a nice look as well. Once the bar's in, the carpet will go around the outside of that tile and frame that and make a nice border. So we've got our tile in. Nothing's grouted yet, but it's been set, it's in place, and we're ready to kick carpet around it at any time. Now what the electrician has just done there is he hooked up the wires that were coming from the panel box to this heater to what's called a unit thermostat, which means you can control the temperature of that heater right on the unit itself. Right there he's putting that on, and you can turn that left and right and set the temperature to make it comfortable for you in this particular room here, in the spare room. And he had just had his tester on there and tested it to make sure that he had current coming into that heater, and to make sure he had the proper amount of current as well. So that's in, and now we can finish up our base trim that goes between the door right here and the side of the heater. And that's why we stopped with the base trim over there. We knew we had this heater to put in. Now we'll go ahead and we'll trim that out and finish up the trim in this bedroom. All that's left is one piece of base trim. Now our electrician has put on some temporary switches, as we call them. These will be replaced once we're done painting and making a mess down here. He's put on some temporary switches so that we could throw some light up to a couple of the fixtures that we got in the ceiling right now, so we have good light so we can see what we're doing when we're trimming and we're painting. So that's why we have a couple outlets on and the rest of them not installed yet. He hasn't put the outlets on, but I think that's going to be going on today, and he should be devicing out, as we call it in the business, devicing out all the outlets inside the stereo cabinet here. And down below here, so if you can see this here, inside here we've got a couple of holes cut in the back of the stereo cabinet. Let's see if I can, there's one right there. It's going to be putting that box right there to bring some electric in for all of the different components that are going to be in here. And up the end down there, he's got another one going in as well, where he's going to be bringing in the cable TV and the speaker wires. And we're getting ready to put together the special jack cover that the homeowner has supplied for us here. We're going to be putting this in this frame right here in the back of the stereo rack as well. So the electrician's got a little bit of work here to do today to get all these outlets and switches and speaker equipment put together. So we're ready to fire this up here sometime at the end of the week. But we're sewing up the electric here today, and the electric will be about 95% here today. We'll have a couple ceiling fixtures and a couple fixtures yet that we have to put in the bathroom still. But we'll be doing that very last thing at the end of the week once we get the bathroom all touched up and floors grouted and everything. We'll get in there and we'll finish up what's going to be our light fan ceiling combo. Still needs put together, and over top of the vanity, that's where our vanity's gone, somewhere up in there we're going to be putting in a light bar over top of the 4-foot vanity, so that still has to be done as well. And we have the rest of our switches and whatnot to put in here in that double gang box there, and over there in the corner the electrician's going to be putting in a GFI receptacle in here as well, and that'll take care of the electric in the bathroom. Up there in the stairway was an existing porcelain fixture that was put in by the builder. We're going to be taking that fixture off and putting a brand new surface mounted fixture on there that the homeowner's supplying for us to give the stairway a nice finished look. Some more temporary switches were put on here. This was controlling the stairway light coming down, and this is controlling the recessed lights in the activity area right here where I'm standing. There's going to be one more in here as well, but that hasn't been put in yet. That should be done later on today. So we're all roughed in, and there is power to these switches, all these wires. There is power here. We just don't have the actual switches put on yet. But the new sub panel is fired up, and we have juice electric at all these junction boxes all over the basement. We've also pre-wired for speakers in 4 different locations. Here we have one up in the soffit for the rear channels, and down at the other end of the room down there, up there we have another rear channel box that was wired with speakers. So we'll have rear channel sound. And then what we've done is we put one more front channel box. If I can see it up there right over top of that door right there, he's got a front channel going in right there, And I believe the other one is going to be going in that bookcase right there, and he's going to have a bookshelf speaker sitting on the top shelf there for the other front channel. In the center there over the TV, I haven't cut it in yet, but there's going to be another one of these little build-ins with the casing on it right above the TV that's going to house the center channel, and I'll show you that once I get it roughed in there today. Okay, I'm in the process of cutting this 4x8 sheet of wainscoting, beaded wainscoting, into 32-inch pieces, and I wanted to show you what I was doing here. Using my circular saw with a fine blade, I'm taking the saw and I've laid out the pieces into 3 sections. At 32 inches, I've made a pencil line across each one, and I'm cutting down through the wainscoting right here. You can see I'm almost through this piece here, cutting it into a 32-inch rip, and I'm stacking them over there against the wall. And each one of those rips is 4 feet wide by 32 high, so I'm getting 3 4-foot wide sections out of one sheet of wainscoting, which means I can go 12 feet down the wall with my wainscoting. So I needed a total of 5 sheets to get enough linear footage to complete this job. And I'm going to be running the wainscoting down the half wall over there, down underneath the window, and then right back up this whole side of the basement here, under the bookcase and around in this area right here. And I'm going to be stopping it right here at the stairway wall. So in effect, I'm just doing this half of the basement right here in the wainscoting. And the most economical way to do this is to buy it in 4x8 sheets and cut it to height using your circular saw. It's much less expensive than buying true beaded 3/4 inch or 1/4 inch wainscoting, which might increase the price 4 to, if not 5 times in material costs, as opposed to using this rather inexpensive beaded wainscoting paneling that we cut up. When it's finished, you have the exact same look, the exact same effect, and especially if you're painting, which we are. We're not looking to stain the wainscoting. If we were doing a stained wainscoting, we probably would have opted for the more expensive material wainscoting, but if you're painting, this is the way to go. You can save yourself hundreds of dollars in material costs just buying it in 4x8 sheets and cutting it into 32-inch pieces and giving yourself 12 feet of wainscoting per sheet. Best way to go. Okay, so you can see the wainscoting's been applied here. What we did was we leveled around at about 34 inches and we struck a line and we set the top of our wainscoting the whole way down around this room to that line. And we're getting ready now to put the chair rail on top and the base trim on the bottom. We'll set the chair rail actually right on top. The chair rail that we're using actually has a little notch out of the back, so it sits flush against the wainscoting and flush against the wall. So you can see it's got a little notch cut in the back, and the reason that that's notched out there is it actually right here sits on top of the wainscoting. I'll show you here. Just kind of notches right over top and sits on there like that. You see how it notched around there. So that makes a nice finished look. With the notch in the back like that, your chair rail won't be cocked, and you don't have to put anything behind it to build it out. It sits right on there. And most places that carry trim will carry this type of chair rail. So we've applied all of our wainscoting, and today we're going to be putting on the chair rail and the base trim to finish this out here. On the outside corners here, we'll be putting an outside corner. Be 3/4 by 3/4 inch. We'll cover this raw edge here where the 2 pieces of wainscoting meet. And as you can see, we went right around the bookcase, right underneath and right up both sides. And we finished out this whole little area right here, including the sides of the staircase and the wainscoting. Give it a real polished look down here, very custom look. So that's it for the wainscoting. We'll finish that up. We'll get the chair rail and the base trim on there, and then we'll let you take a peek. Okay, we've got a lot of trim done here over the last 48 hours. Let me take a little walk around here with you, show you what we've managed to get in here in the last 2 days. We're midway through our 5th week. We're hoping to have this thing all wrapped up by Sunday. Carpeting is coming Monday. So let's take a look at some of the trim projects we've completed and some of the stuff that we've got rolling here and some of the things that we still have to finish between now and Sunday. Okay, we just installed our new countertop on our half wall. Been following along. We built this half wall to separate the game area from the home theater area, and that top and that half wall were incorporated with the support column in the center there. We built that into the top itself. So we've got this 13-foot long countertop here. It's about 26 inches wide. We put the wainscoting on the bottom to dress that up, and we just finished putting our 2 1/4 inch casing underneath here. We butted that up underneath the overhang at the top, and we've got our outside corner installed and our base trim. Nice look there. And up that end where there's no wainscoting, in that cavity there's going to be those wall cabinets that we're going to fashion underneath there, and they'll come out as far as this wainscoting section of the half wall once we put those in. They're not coming in until the first week of December, so that's something that we'll have to come back for. But it's all ready to go when they come in. So we've got our nice countertop here. We're going to have some bar stools over here on this side. We'll be able to sit here at the bar and watch the big screen TV right across the way there in the home theater. So this will make a nice place to sit and eat or have some drinks on the bar stools right here at the half wall. Now over here we had a little gap where our countertop was notched around our column. So what we did is we dressed that up with some 2 1/4 inch colonial casing here and finished that off nice. We've got the rest of our wainscoting put in here with our chair rail on top of it, and that runs the whole way down into the bathroom area down here. And we ran that right around our bookcase. You can see there we notched the sheet of wainscoting up and around our bookcase, and we capped it off with the chair rail. And that runs the whole way around in this little area here outside the bathroom, and right back over to the stairway, right up underneath the stair cap there. So that's 100% finished. We just have to caulk our nail holes and our seams where our trim meets the wainscoting, get that all looking good there, and put the final coat of paint on the trim, which we'll be doing over the next 2 days. So that's looking real good. We've got our stairway trimmed out, got our base trim up in there on all the different levels in the staircase. The staircase comes down and turns at a landing there. We put our base trim on today. Got that all done, capped on the end. And we've got our colonial casing underneath our stair cap, which runs the whole way down to the bottom step there. So all we have to do now is put our newel posts and spindles on. Tomorrow we'll be using these colonial spindles that we have here. They got this detail on the bottom, and they taper off. And they're going to sit right here on top of the stair cap, and they'll be received up at the top by the new oak handrail. And we'll have a rosette that goes up there, and that will receive the handrail up into the wall area there. So we'll be doing double banisters tomorrow. We'll be putting one banister on right there, and a matching one right over here. And they'll be done tomorrow. And that's really all the trim that we have left is the banisters. We do have a bar area over here. Again, those cabinets aren't coming till December 1st, so we will not be installing those cabinets until the beginning of December. But that's a one-day job. We have our countertop already made and in storage, and as soon as the cabinets are set in that area, we'll put the top on, and that area will be done in just a day's time. It won't take long. Okay, I wanted to show you one of these access panels that we put in here. This is what I was referring to as a plumber's access panel, and we use these wherever we need to gain accessibility to things later on, things that are behind the walls or up inside the ceiling that we can't get to once we've drywalled. So these panels they just stick into the wall like that, and there you can see we have access to that trap, and we also have access to the water shutoff right there to the outside spigot. So these access panels are real handy. This one here is a 16 by 16, and you can cut the hole out anywhere from 10 by 10 to 15 by 15. We cut a 10 by 10 hole there, and we'll always have access to that shutoff just by removing that panel. They're real handy, and it's a great way aesthetically to make an access panel to readily get to things quickly in the future. So the plumber's access panels can be found at any super hardware store. I wanted to show you what exactly I was using for these access panels, the plumber access panels. This is called a Watts, that's the manufacturer, Watts Spring Fit access panel. And that is a 9 by 9, and that's the average size that we use. We only use the big ones when we got to get to something really large, but this 9 by 9 access panel takes care of like exterior faucet shutoffs, the bibs, get up there to get to the shutoff for winter so your pipes don't freeze out, gas shutoffs, ice maker shutoffs, damper controls for air conditioning and heating. The 9 by 9 panel is used 99 out of 100 times for us. We only use those big panels when we got to get to a big trap or something really large to operate on. But normally it's the 9 by 9 Watts Spring Fit access panel. And there's other manufacturers as well out there. There's a couple other manufacturers that we do use, but we usually use the Watts brand. So there you go. That's how you get to everything that you need to access behind your drywall at a later date. Okay, and in our bathroom project today, we started to put up our vanity light over top of our new vanity, and we've got our 48-inch vanity today. We sat it in there and got it fastened to the wall, and we stuck the cultured marble top on there and finished our base trim into it. We had to set the cabinet before we could finish up our base trim because we had all these little pieces of trim that'll go in and butt up against it. So we set our vanity on top of our new tile floor, which we grouted over the weekend and cleaned up, so we're all good to go there. Our plumber's coming in on Friday, and we'll hook up the faucet and the shutoffs inside the cabinet, and he'll be putting the toilet, which goes right there underneath that ladder, he'll be putting the toilet in as well. Inside our linen closet, we've got all of our tile in there as well, and our base trim's all been applied inside there, and we're ready for our closet-made shelving, which will be going in there. We've got our door 100% done, all of our trimming cut into our shower. You can see how the base trim just comes around and butts right into the fiberglass there. And over on the other side, it runs between the door and the tub. That's all finished. So the bathroom just needs maybe 2 hours with the plumber, and we'll put our shower door on, which we have to pick up yet. And the bathroom's looking pretty good. Only a couple hours in here, and this bathroom will be ready for people to use it.